What are the consequences of losing your status in Canada? If you're here on a work permit, you have an employee who's on a work permit, or you yourself are on a study permit or a visa, and that permit has expired and you've not applied to renew it, what are the consequences? Well, you could be found to be what's called inadmissible, meaning barred from remaining in Canada, or worse yet, you could be removed from Canada. Hi there, welcome back. My name is Donovan Francis. I'm a Canadian immigration lawyer at GOOSELAW Immigration, where we help businesses with their employees' applications to apply for their Canadian visas without the legal hassle. In this video, I wanted to talk about the consequences around losing your status in Canada. Now, in order for a foreign national to work in Canada or to study in Canada or to remain in Canada as a visitor, they need what's called a status document. And a status document is nothing more than a work permit, which is a physical piece of paper, or a study permit, or a visitor record in the case of somebody who is here as a visitor, or in some circumstances, a visitor might even not be issued a visitor record, but may just have had something written into their passport when they first arrived here. But in any event, in order for a foreign national to remain in Canada lawfully, you need to have a status document. You need to have a valid work permit or valid study permit or visitor record. And by valid, we mean that the expiration date that is written onto the face of the document must not have passed. Okay? So that's what it means to be in status inside Canada. Now, what happens when you have overstayed your time and have ultimately lost legal status in Canada? Well, the first thing is that, you have lost your status, so you are not lawfully inside Canada. So you are inside Canada, but unlawfully so. So that's the first consequence. And that in turn has ripple effects. So by not being in Canada lawfully, it automatically then means that you would be inadmissible on grounds of having breached the Canadian immigration rules. Remaining unauthorized in Canada is a breach of Canada's immigration rules. And if you breach Canada's immigration rules, you then become inadmissible. And being inadmissible means that you are technically, or you may technically be barred from re-entering Canada in the future. And also, you may technically be barred from remaining in Canada if you're currently inside Canada, right? So that's a consequence of falling out of status. And obviously, being out of status means that you cannot work lawfully, you cannot study lawfully, so you will be required by law to cease any work or study that you would have been doing inside Canada. So that's going to be very important, and that's a serious consequence of falling out of status. And then perhaps the most significant is that where you have fallen out of status and have remained out of status, you are at risk of being asked to leave Canada. Right? And this is typically done by way of a removal order. You're issued instructions by the Canadian immigration authorities to depart Canada, typically by a set date, and the conditions are typically outlined in that departure or removal order. So that's going to be the perhaps most severe consequence. There may still be other consequences, depending on the nature of your inadmissibility. You may be barred from re-entering Canada at some point in the future for up to 5 years, or you may be required to seek special authorization from the immigration authorities in order to return to Canada. There are certain circumstances in which that's going to be the case. If part of the reason why you're inadmissible is because you misrepresented. So let's say you fell out of status and you in an application you may have stated something that was inaccurate, but something that would have impacted your application had it been stated accurately, or you may have withheld information that could potentially have impacted your application. In those circumstances, there could be a finding of what's called misrepresentation. And a finding of misrepresentation, one of the consequences that comes with such a finding is that you may be barred from returning to Canada for up to 5 years, right? So that's another consequence that comes with breaching the terms and conditions of any authorization that you would have been issued while inside Canada. So I hope you found value from this. As always, remember to like our videos so others may see more videos like this. Subscribe to our channel so that you'll be notified the next time we publish a video. And check us out on go.gooselaw.com. Thanks. See you again.